Hey everybody, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. You're back with Brittany Elliott, and I am a self-care and mom life management coach. I help working moms create simple, sustainable self-care routines that impact their overall wellness and enrich their lives. And we are back in the Mother's Day series, and I'm excited to bring you yet again another mom with a really great story. So today we do have Taylor Clemm. Taylor is a wellness enthusiast and the visionary behind DAWA, a joyful lifestyle brand that provides ancestral wellness, education, and services. As a student of nature and a mother of three children born at home, Taylor's life is rooted in ancestral wisdom. Studying under multiple herbalists, urban farmers, and birth workers, Taylor accumulated a wealth of knowledge throughout her years working in the community. Her work centers around inspiring habits for families to thrive with a micro focus on joyful birth and plant food and medicine. Through DAWA, Taylor is on a mission to reignite the DAWA mama, medicine mama, in every woman across the nation. She spends most of her time as a homeschooling mom and enjoys any activity under the sun, including gardening and walking the local parks with her family. DAWA is a joyful lifestyle brand that provides ancestral wellness education services. DAWA was created to inspire mothers and families to adopt lifestyle changes that nourish our bodies, respect the earth, and transform us into greater well being. By using ancestral wisdom, the power of nature, and pure joy, DAWA is here to reestablish generational health, one DAWA mama at a time. So make sure you visit the community at dawaisjoy.com. Taylor, welcome.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Brittany, for having me. And I'm just grateful and I feel blessed. Even just hearing all of that amazing stuff, I'm like just almost amazed. But yes, I'm grateful and blessed to be in this space with you.
You are amazing. I'm so happy that you're here and agreed to being here. And then even in reading your bio like out loud, because of course I read it to myself prior to, it even has an energy about it, which
Mhm.
is just insanely powerful. So I want to hear a little bit more about your journey into motherhood.
Yes, yes. Well, yes, thank you again, Brittany. My journey into motherhood. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and when I first thought of it, I thought of my before I had children. Uh, my partner and we got together when I was 18. I was very young, and I did not know myself, or just really was just finding myself in this world. And we got pregnant multiple times, 3 times to be exact, and we had abortions with those 3 babies. And those were tough times. It caused a lot of turmoil in a relationship, just not understanding what to do. And I think it really was because we were young. We were supposed to have a house, and we were supposed to be married, and have a college degree. I had all that in my mind. So I'm like, we can't have this baby right now, and then the fourth time it happened, which is my firstborn son. There was just something in me that just said, I can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this, Taylor. And that was kind of like the journey. And I still was almost like embarrassed, almost. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but, I didn't tell my family until about 4 months when I was pregnant. And it's like, okay, I can't hide this anymore. And it was an amazing experience because when I told them, I felt so supported and so loved. And it's just like, why have I been hiding this whole time? And so embarrassed to just bring these babies to life. My family was so supportive. And my partner's family was so supportive. They were just, we really are blessed with our support team and our family with our children. And that journey in itself, like the pregnancy journey, was really, it was the beginning was a bit rocky, but the end was just amazing. We had 3 amazing births. three amazing pregnancies and three amazing afterbirth experiences. When I first got pregnant, I something inside of me immediately told me to just go and do your research, learn about birth, learn about, take classes, join breastfeeding groups. I was just really encouraged to do all of those things, and it put so much confidence inside of me, and it allowed me to have just amazing sacred family birthing experiences. And that was really just the it was just that was the journey into motherhood. Just those just supportive team. I had amazing doulas and amazing midwives who fueled me with just love and just wisdom. My family, we were just really supported and loved. We gave birth at my childhood home where I grew up in, for my firstborn. And then our second child, our following children were born at the home that we currently live in. And they were just amazing. I feel blessed to have that experience into motherhood.
That is so interesting, Taylor. And thank you so much for sharing because I have been around many women who have had an abortion story with their motherhood journey, right? And some of them kind of punish themselves and then don't find the joy in their pregnancies after, if
Mm,
that makes sense. And so, what advice do you have for any women who are listening right now and think, you know what, in the past I chose this option and are thinking like, do I deserve this child now or should I do it? Am I responsible? Like any type of shaming they may be doing or doubt, like what word do you have for them?
yes. To go in, and you're big on this too, is just journaling. But journaling is a great way to go in within yourself and figure out where you're getting those feelings from. Like I said, I had those feelings of just like, I should not be having a baby right now. But why did I have those feelings? If I took time to reflect on that, if I actually talked to someone instead of keeping everything to myself, then I could have been able to just really release and just say, this baby is ready. It was planted in me, so it's ready to be born. So, and that's how I feel. So, I truly believe that folks should go in and really take time and meditate on decisions before they, make them. And you trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. So go in, use journaling to do so. Take deep breathing moments, to really just reflect and listen to what, um, the Most High is telling you. And I believe the Most High is yourself and is within you. So when you take time to go within, you'll be able to really figure out what is wanting to come out.
Your journey seems like it's been filled with so much joy and you're able to give birth in your childhood home and then give birth in your home now, which is just so beautiful. And I see you with your children and there's so much love and so much light. So I want to know like what challenges have you had to overcome so far along your journey?
Yeah. Yeah. Motherhood is no easy road. There's been many challenges. Um, just in a recent one in my life has been, just my my partner's work schedule, which sometimes I don't like to share because I feel selfish sharing. But it's a lot when you are not a single parent, and sometimes you feel like a single parent, or when just a lot is put on you. Um, and that's not to take away from what he does, because even when he comes home from work, he's like helping the kids and getting them cleaned up and all of these things. So, but yeah, there's lots of challenges. My anger. I've held a lot of anger, and that's one thing that I'm unpacking still, and just making sure that I'm not ref- uh, pushing that anger onto my children it's a big piece, you know, and because I grew up in a pretty angry home, just arguing and yelling a lot, and just a lot of turmoil, unfortunately. And I feel like I absorbed a lot of that. And, you know, I'm working on not screaming and not yelling and all of those things, but it really boils back to that foundation. So lately, I've been really talking to my partners. How can we build foundations and like structures and instill like values to where we can eliminate some of the things that happen repeatedly that are making us upset? So yeah, that's a lot of that. I mean, I would say that is the biggest challenge within my motherhood journey is finding that inner peace and not getting stressed out over little things. You know, it's just a mess, Taylor. You know, it's just a mess. So that's been a big challenge for me.
And how old are your kids?
Yes, my little one. So I have a 6-year old, a 4-year old, and a 2-year old. So they're all 2 years apart, pretty much exactly, and they have June and July birthdays. So um, it's a lot. It's a blessing, though. I love seeing them play together, but they're really close, and you know, I have 3 little ones.
And that, I mean, those ages, I mean, that's tough. I feel like that young age, like that
Mm-hmm.
infancy into toddlerhood is just such a tough time, not just for your child, right, but for you. And just as a woman trying to figure everything out, and then your body's kind of rebalancing, and then what you worry about changes and what's important to you kind of changes. So priorities shift and you're relearning yourself. And then I feel like even for you, like who you were when you had one, shifted when you had two, and then you had three, and it's just like all this shifting. And I think that it's those little things that it's like all this, there's only little things to stress about because there's really nothing big, right? We're blessed to have, our children who are um, thriving and want us around, right? And I think there's a beauty in that. But I love how you just talked about a lot of the challenges that you're overcoming are really like internal. Like, how do I speak more kindly to myself? How do I speak kindly to my partner? All the inner work that you do, how do
Mm-hmm.
you mirror that for your children?
My children have taught me so much, and a lot of things just come up intuitively. So we do affirmations. We try to do them daily, you know, every morning and every night before we rest. And those affirmations are just, you know, I'm a positive force, or, you know, my rest is essential for my healing. You know, those affirmations are really helpful in setting that foundation. But another big thing that we do is communicate. I make sure that I'm communicating with my children. You know, I let them know, like, I don't want to be a mean mommy or yelling all the time. This is stressful for me. And, it's funny sometimes talking to, 6-year olds about this, but it's really helpful because when they talk back to me and just like say, like almost like I'm talking to an adult. It makes me feel so relieved that I did, release that and let them know how I felt, and let them know that I'm working on myself and that I'm healing and that I'm trying my best and that we are in this together. Just real fast, I'll share a moment that me and my partner and my family had. We were going to a Penguins game for the first time, and we were in the car, and I something told me, let me turn this music down and let's have a moment. And I just shared like, hey, I know it's a little late. We're going into this Penguin game. It's our first time. We're going to have so much fun. You know, I know you guys are a little sleepy and a little bit hungry, but we're going to take care of that. We don't want you to get cranky. We want you to use your words and just let us know how you feel before any crankiness arises. And, just we shared a little bit more, but just having that conversation was huge. You know, we didn't have any crankiness. We had good listeners. We had folks who were patient instead of saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You know, sometimes they're at my feet, like in the kitchen, like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And it's just, but that pre-talk and those, just that open communication with them is really gold, and it works. So that's how we've been getting through. And we learn every day. I'm learning something new every day and applying it in our home.
Wow, that is so beautiful, especially since you kind of mentioned how your childhood was a little bit different, like the home was just a little bit different and the energy may have been a little bit different. So, how did you actually settle into your parenting style of choice?
I truly believe it is just um, going with the flow. And I have this vision of who I want to be and how I want my family to be. And I'm working my best to do that. And you know, I'm only looking for peace and joy. And so that's not hard to create within your home. You just got to be very intentional and making sure that your family um, around you know that too. You know, your immediate family, your parents, your aunts and uncles, making sure that, know that we have a different lifestyle. We're doing things a little differently. And the children, they absorb so much. You know, they go
Mhm.
over Aunt Brandy's house or Aunt Auntie's and grandma's house and they say, we don't do that, or we do it like this, or so they're really learning and absorbing these things and taking it to their through their daily lives and experiences. I tell my son every day before he goes to school, my oldest, he's in school, I tell him, don't let anyone take your joy. You're powerful, and surround yourself with nice people, and if they're not nice, remove yourself, because you don't want to absorb any negativity. And just more affirmation, but just letting them know that they are full of joy and that they have any moment they can reclaim their joy by just, taking a deep breath or removing themselves. So,
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, especially the part about being intentional, right? And having the right mindset and knowing what you want. Like what kind of lifestyle and household are you actually building, and what lengths are you willing to go to protect that space? I like to tell listeners the stories of how I meet my guests. And, Taylor and I've very much met organically. And I was at an event and I had a table set up there. But, I was talking about my services and then she told me about what she does. And for me, I was just blown away. Like, I'm like, whoa, like I am proud of what I do, but I am even more proud of what you do. Like you became this kind of beacon for me. And I think a lot of that is from being intentional and even the type of people you want to meet.
well, no, that was good. That was golden. It's like you attract who you want it, or you attract, what is the saying? But you attract who you are. So basically, if you put something out, you're going to get it. So I love what you just said about that. I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's funny that you said that when you love what you do, when you saw what I do, you were blown away. But even within what I do, I didn't have a self care routine. So when I found you, it was like, I needed you. I needed you. And so, receiving your emails and just, tapping into your social media has been a huge blessing and has really transformed this journey I'm on. It's a never ending journey, but it's truly helped transform it. And now I have, self care rituals that I do. And now I feel more confident in sharing with, my audience and my community, because I am actually practicing these things. So it's just important to always know that we're just all human, and we're all learning and all growing and trying to do our best. So I love it.
Yeah. And you talk about growth a lot, like almost as if, I mean, growth kind of does become the journey. And I feel like there really is not a destination that we're essentially getting to. It's really about trusting the process. So, how has being a mother really pushed you to set goals and accomplish them?
Yes. Um, yeah, that's a big one because I truly believe that my children deserve freedom, and I am working my best to do that. I want my own freedom, and my own, and that's my vision of what freedom is. And I'm being pushed to do that because of my children. I see them and I know that they desire what they desire. And working, working for that like consistent joy where we're not stressed out, where we don't have to work all the time and we could travel the world and be in the sun and just play all day. I just want to play all day with them without having to worry about doing something or just being pulled so much. And that's the freedom that I desire, and for them, because I believe that they deserve that. They want to explore the world. I kind of put those seeds in them because that's what I want. But they really they love it. We read animal books and we travel the world through animals. They love animals so much, and I just want to be able to travel the world physically with them, and experience and learn and speak different languages. And so my everything I do is for them and for their joy and their happiness and their health, their vibrant health. And just, I say that to them all the time. My job is to make sure that you're healthy, happy, and just full of love.
So what advice do you have for, it doesn't even necessarily have to be new moms, because I feel like we feel this for a long time, who are
Mhm.
just in an internal battle with, I thought my life would be like this even with kids, and I'm just being pulled, and now I just have an inner friction. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, that is big. That is really big because, like I had mentioned, I was 18 when I first got in like a relationship, and before that, I was just a baby doing silly things. And but I never really got to know myself. And even through pregnancies and births, I still was like figuring things out and figuring out what I like, and things will get put on hold because I was pregnant or because I was, mothering. And I'm finally in a place literally within the last 2 months. But within a place where I'm like, okay, I'm finding out who I am and what I love. And I've just never been in love with myself like I am now. And that would be my advice, is just to really truly do that work to figure out what you love, and to love yourself, and to really just laugh at yourself. And now I'm like skipping into the grocery stores just laughing at myself. But it's just really because I'm just loving life and I'm loving myself. I'm loving this journey I'm on. I'm consistently doing the things that I've been neglecting for years, and as simple as like journaling, or having a morning routine to myself where I'm up like 2 hours before I have to be a mother. I'm spending that time and pouring into myself. So that is truly my advice. And honestly, I feel like it's an essential. You have to pour into yourself as a mother, or you're just going to lose yourself. It's just, I've been driving myself crazy, and I didn't realize until I've created this like new me, and I started pouring into me, so just truly love yourself. Figure out how to love that little girl inside of you. I think that's what that skipping is, me just loving that little girl inside of me, that little Taylor. So please do that, everyone.
Yeah. And I am going to ask you about your self care routine in a minute, but, and y'all, I'm really throwing stuff at Taylor because I told her what I was going to ask her, but I have gone all over the map with things. And this question is really going to be for y'all listeners, because I want to know how this shows up like in the world and for you, especially with the work that you do. So, there's pregnancy, there's birth, and then there's afterbirth. And you speak about those things very specifically and very separately with intention. And I hear it, right? So, can you kind of define those and talk about motherhood in each stage of those things,
Mm.
right?
Ooh. Yes, I almost just want to take a moment to breathe before that question. That's a beautiful question. Yes. Honestly, I believe it's before pregnancy. Now that you asked me that question, because, before we become a mother, there's this moment of just loving our womb and understanding what's going on inside of there. In the pregnancy stage, it's just a really beautiful time to build this connection with this growing being and to admire this new you that is happening, building this connection with your baby, and just really loving yourself. So I really believe that that stage is, again, uh, there's some negative things going on with pregnancies, and just like, we're supposed to be tired. We're looked at as if we're sick within the hospital sometimes, or like, just really not being able to walk, or we're supposed to just be eating all the time and just getting, it's just a lot of things that we have to reclaim within this whole entire journey. But yeah, that's another stage that really could be elevated, and that's the work I'm doing. And then within the labor and birthing experience, that's another, original people, our ancestors, they gave birth, and it was a sacred family event. The entire family was there. Now there's this big thing around doulas. But prior to doulas, it was just your auntie, your sister, your mom. It was just the woman, again, the woman in the family who had that spirit, that nurturing spirit that supported the mother. And then after, and then that transition into birth, it's just an amazing experience that every woman should experience with love and support, and not fear and just trauma, which there's a lot of that going on. And then when we transition into afterbirth, pretty, that moment is so golden. The afterbirth experience is truly undervalued. That's the moment when the mother needs to be mothered. The mother truly needs to be mothered. In a lot of cultures around the world, there's an entire at least 40 days where mother is cooked for, her older children are taken care of, she's massaged, she is given feed and nourishing food and herbal teas, and she's really just mothered. You mother the mother, and without that, you see a lot of postpartum depression, you see a lot of stress, you see a lot of anxiety within mothers. But it's truly because the mother isn't able to really be mothered. When the mother births a baby, the mother is born. So we need to treat her like a newborn baby, really. And we'll see a lot more joyful experiences after birth if we focus on that. So I believe that is why I break it down in those sections, because each stage is so different and we have to treat them just a little differently, but just be very intentional how we uh, take care of our moms throughout that stage. Because come on, it's life. It's a life. We have to treat that like super, super special when we're birthing a nation.
Make sure that y'all definitely get connected with Taylor. I don't care where you are in your motherhood journey. And I love how you talked about even prior to pregnancy, like how we see our wombs. Do we despise it? Like, how do we feel about our menstrual cycles? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm
Mhm.
going to stay connected with Taylor because I'm raising a
Yes.
little girl, right? And I want to go about this the right way, and I don't want her to hate her body, and I want her to be open and vibrant through the entire, process. So one last question before we let you go. Please tell us all, what does self-care look like for you?
Yeah, self care. Yes. Self care, like I said, is very new for me. Um, and it looks like a lot. So maybe I'll just go through a routine, my daily routine. So I wake up at about 4:30, or maybe 4:44. I have three alarm clocks, but those are all before my children, my family wake up. And the first thing I do is brush my teeth, and that's something that I struggled with a lot. And when I look back, I don't even know when it started, but I feel like it got worse when I became a mother. I stopped brushing my teeth as much, especially if I wasn't leaving the house. I would just be stank breath all day. Now I've been doing it consistently and it feels amazing. And that's how I start my day. And then I wash my face. That's another thing that I did not do. And I did when I was younger. I had like a routine, and I had to because I had like acne. It was really bad. And I started that as well. And so just that hygiene routine for me has transformed just how I feel about myself and just going throughout my day. And then I meditate, so I take time to breathe. And now I love breathing. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I try to incorporate it throughout my day. But that meditation, that breathing practice is tough, especially when it's uncomfortable, I should say, because it's not something that I was used to. But as I've been doing it consistently, I really enjoy it, and I find it as a necessity for me to really just unpack my mind. Our minds are going crazy, but that's a way to just really unpack it is by taking time to just be silent with yourself. And then I do some prayer and affirmations. So I'll look in the mirror sometimes, or I'll just say a prayer and express my gratitude and just speak positive into myself and smile. Like I smile a lot at myself, and just be grateful. That's a big practice for me, is just to express how grateful I am for myself, and to ensure that I'm affirming myself throughout the day. And then I move my body. Moving my body has been so big for me. Even when I was pregnant, I was in the Zumba class, like loving myself. And that's actually how I found my love of dance, which I don't want to go on a tangent, but dancing, I was always embarrassed to dance when I was younger, but I realized it's just because I didn't want to grind on people. And I wanted to just be free and dance, and Zumba helped me love dance. So doing dancing, or just dancing, is a form of my self-care as well. But and then I do my like a little movement of Pilates. I've been loving Pilates lately, or I might do some yoga, especially during my cycle, my moon cycle. I like to slow my movements down and do something differently. And so yeah, I make sure that I spend at least 20 minutes doing some type of movement, intentional movement, and then I write. So writing is really helpful for me, having a daily and nightly writing practice. And I have to give credit. I invested in a wellness coach and a spiritual wellness coach. And they've been encouraging me to make sure that I'm doing that writing. And it truly has helped and transformed me. Um, and I would say that has been a form of self care, and that's one of the things that I've done. Always, I've always invested in myself as far as education and learning experiences. I'm always in someone's class or someone's workshop or something to just fuel me with more wisdom. My library, I have like a little mini library of books that half of them I haven't even touched yet, but just having those and just being able to go to them when I need them, that's a form of self-care for me. It's just having that wisdom and being able to tap into just fuel, that intellectual. Is that one of your pillars of
Yeah.
wellness? Intellectual wellness is crucial. Like it just fuels me up. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot more, sunshine. Ooh, I gotta say sunshine and just being outside. Like, sometimes I'll just lay on my children's floor because they get a lot of sun in their room and just sunbathe, especially during the winter time. But yeah, but being outside under the sun is another form just of self care for me, just being outside in general. My children, my family are actually on a walk right now. I was going to go with them, but they went a little later. But just being outside, that's big for us. And yeah, I could keep going on and on, but just I think it's really having that list of things that you know you love or that you know you want to accomplish and do in life. I know I needed more time in my life. So it's like, let me wake up earlier. It's not easy, but once you consistently do it, you realize how it makes you feel good. And it's like, no, this is essential in my life because it makes me feel good and I need this. So yeah, just finding those things that you love and making sure you're showing up for yourself, staying true to yourself. If you don't stay true to yourself, then who else will? So that is my key to self-care is finding what you love and making sure you're doing it.
And I love that you have such an overall wellness approach to your self-care. And that's what I try to drill into people. Like it just cannot be one thing. It really has to be broad. It has to hit on multiple parts of your life because we are complex by nature, even though we're simple and we have, an inner self. We want a lot of things and a lot of pieces of us need fulfilled, and sometimes they all need fulfilled at the time, so you find ways that you can do the most with the time that you have. And I appreciate you so much for sharing your journey, sharing the work that you do, sharing your self-care routine, and really doing the work that you do in the community. So thank you again. I appreciate your time today. For our listeners, thank you for being here as always, and I'll talk to everybody very soon.
Yay. Thank you.